Hi YouTube souls, it's Corvus Bruxo, and today I bring you a little review, opinion, whatever you want to call it. And it's one of the few times left that I will be showing the material in my hand, because moving to Madrid and leaving so much material behind, so many books, so many DVDs, Blu-rays, it's kind of difficult to try to have the material in hand to plan the video and bringing the material or taking the material to Madrid in time. So let's take advantage of this situation, okay? Here we have the only material that I have read, except for a couple of pages of Sandman from Neil Gaiman. And I haven't read the other books by Neil Gaiman, but reading this, I believe he's as a talented writer as he's usually said. This book is amazing, and it is of interest to pagans if you're not picky motherfuckers. Because it's true, there are so many pagans and so many witches that are so picky about we're misrepresented in the our gods are misrepresented in this media, our practices are misrepresented in that other media, and it's fiction, guys. It's there to enjoy. Christianity is not well represented when they're depicted as assassins, bastards in the I can't remember the name of the book, by the Da Vinci's Code. In the Da Vinci's Code, the Catholic Church, I don't like the Catholic Church, but I sincerely, as Stephen Amell would say, I sincerely doubt that they're a bunch of heartless motherfuckers who can hire an assassin. So no religion is well represented in the media, at least if they're fiction. So chill out, relax, let all the poison flow out of you, and if you haven't read this book, it's about time, okay? So what's this book all about? American Gods. It's an amazing idea for fiction, and it is very enjoyable for pagans or for people who enjoy mythology. In this book, and I will try to put the names right because I have read it in Spanish, so some names might be changed, okay? In this book, our main character is called, in Spanish is Sombra, so I guess in English the original name would be Shadow. It's the translation of Sombra. So let's call him Shadow. If I'm mistaken, I'm sorry, I haven't read the English version. So we have Shadow, who has recently came out of jail, and he finds that his wife has passed away. So he's desolated, he doesn't know what to do with his life. The job that he was promised after coming out of jail is now cancelled because of the situation, and he finds the only job that he's offered by a mysterious guy that he doesn't know and none of his relatives know, and he's known as Mr. Wednesday. And Mr. Wednesday offers him to be a boy for everything type of man, type of employee. He must take his cards, he must be a bodyguard, he must be a lot of things, because Wednesday is planning something. it becomes very clear, especially if you're reading this version where they had to explain us Wednesday. I mean, why he's called Wednesday. Because in Spanish, the word for Wednesday is miércoles. So it has nothing to do with Warden's name. So it's explained very early in the book, the relationship between the word Wednesday and Woden or Wotan, which is another name for Odin. So he follows this guy, his boss, throughout a lot of states in the United States of America. It's very beautifully how the states, the environments, the landscapes are explained in this book. And I don't know, the travel itself is very beautifully explained and proposed to the reader. I don't know what happens with the lights today. Well, whatever. Throughout this travel, he encounters certain characters that, as Mr. Wednesday itself, happen to be like reincarnations or personalities or new forms, or it's not very well explained. It's not a spoiler what I'm doing. Of ancient deities. Deities from the African tribes, deities from the Aztecs, deities from the Norse, deities from Japan, also different lesser spirits. There are like short stories in between chapters. I love that I can use the word in between. I haven't used it before. In between chapters there are like short stories with things like genes or genies. The story of the genie is one of the best ones, and succubi and other lesser spirits. So there are lesser spirits as well. And the thing is that these deities are at war because they need the faith of people to survive and thrive, so they are very weak. And there are Slavic gods somewhere as well. Okay, I'm kind of rambling. But yeah, you have these deities, these old deities that are growing weaker every day because of the lack of faith. And there are new gods, American gods, that are the new gods of the new era. Gods of, I don't know, of the cities, god of the internet, god of money, that's those types of gods. Modern gods, the new idolatry of the world. Internet, models, money, drugs. Those are the new gods. And the metaphor is, I was about to say beautiful again, but it's not beautiful. It's quite worrying, actually, if you think about it. But it's true. So it's awesome. I mean, the metaphor in this book is completely awesome, and I like it quite much. If you enjoy reading, I'm not a voracious reader, and I enjoy this reading like if it was the last one. It's amazing. I highly recommend this book. It's one of the best books that you will ever read in your fucking life. But of course you don't have to be picky, because the pagan deities aren't depicted as the good guys either. Don't expect them to be the good guys and the new ones to be the evil ones. It's not like that. But it's amazing how the story develops, and even the realism that you can find in this book, because I'm obsessed with realism. I can't remember if I already say this in an older video, because the reviews are quite old by now, but I'm obsessed with realism. Realism in the sense of a chain of logic. You can put me a fictional world and put me fantasy, but you have to give me the logic within that universe, and you have to follow that logic. And if you if you're developing a story within our world, you have to convince me the world you're depicting me is in our world, hidden, forbidden, not in plain sight, or hidden in plain sight, whatever you want it, but convince me that that world is near me and I can't see it, and why I don't see vampires, why I don't see deities, why I don't see spirits in my everyday life. That's the thing that you have to convince me to. So it's quite realistic in that aspect. How the line between physical reality and visions and concepts, that line is very blurry in this book, and I love that about this book. So this book, it's my first book with a 10 out of 10. It's a 10 out of 10 because it's perfect. The landscapes, the development of the story, the characters are very good characters, very well developed. You are always wanted to know who the character is if they aren't presented as the deity they are. You want to know which deity. Sometimes you know the deity, but you don't know from which culture it comes from, or he comes from, because they're not things. I don't know, very, very interesting, very, very catchy, very, very original, and very, very true in the sense of the metaphor, what it represents, the decadence of different ages, the old world and the new world, and how both have flaws and things that aren't fair, or whatever you want to call it. Amazing book, American Gods by Neil Gaiman. I'm looking forward to reading more material by Neil Gaiman, whether they're comic books such as Sandman, which is the other masterpiece, they say, of this author, or other books, because there are many other books, and I have bought a couple of them, and I must have them somewhere. So I highly recommend this. If you haven't read it, do it as soon as possible, because if you're not, as I said, a picky motherfucker, you will for sure enjoy it. So read it and enjoy. And thanks for watching. Like if you like the video, dislike if not. And if you want to know my opinion on more books, fictional books like this, please subscribe to keep updated. And the video is 10 minutes long. Oh no, it's 13 minutes long, so it's time to go. Thanks for watching, guys. May the gods bless you all, and bye.